Hello, I'm Alex Mansfield, the host of Manny Talks Shooting, and welcome to another episode. This is the shooting podcast where I talk to individuals all across the shooting industry. We'll talk competition, self-defense, concealed carry. If you like this content, check out our YouTube channel, Manny Talks Shooting. And without further ado, let's get to this episode. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another installment of Manny Talks Shooting, the shooting podcast on the internet, because this is how I do it. I can't do it any other way quite yet. So without further ado, we'll talk about the title sponsor of the podcast. Go Fast, Don't Suck. They made this banner behind me. They make awesome dry fire decals to stick on your wall so your significant other doesn't blame you for peeling the paint because they're not supposed to. So check them out, gofastdon'tsuck.net. Tell them Manny sent you in your order notes. Move on with your day. Without further ado, I didn't even know how I'm going to do this intro, but it's going to be great. The man who reminds you of a steak, it's Ryan T-Bone Walden. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. It's a wonderful mid-November time when everyone actually cares when these get recorded. But yeah, it's good. It's going to be a good day and it's a good show. So we talked a little bit in the pre-show, but honestly, I forgot how I was going to end. Why does my brain space? But it's okay. You know what? The listeners pay for no dead air. That's what they want. So they will listen to me ramble all day about something, but it's okay. So Ryan, we met actually. When did we meet? When did we actually meet in person? Was it at that raccoon match?
I think we met a little while before that. You just didn't know who I was. I think we had at Michigan sectional.
Oh, okay, probably. There were so many faces I saw at the Michigan
It
sectional
was.
there's only a few people I actually can remember from like my not necessarily bad experience, but super episode, just that big moment, like, oh god, what was it, like Matt Hall, for example, him screaming across the range because he ran dry with his PCC. That I can't forget. Those faces, those names, you don't forget. But so Ryan, people who probably don't know you, who are you and how'd you get into shooting?
I'm Ryan Walden. I'm from Michigan. I got into shooting ever since I was younger into deer hunting. That's when I first started. My dad showed me the ways growing up, deer hunting with a rifle and shotgun. And that soon transitioned into the Marine Corps. And then shortly after that, law enforcement. So I'm a current police officer in Michigan.
Yeah, so you started out hunting with your dad. So you said you were able to use rifles. So did you travel north of the line to go shoot rifles then?
Yep, north of the line.
Yeah, I think that line is arbitrary. By the way, you should tell lawmakers that it sucks and we need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays that people down here can still use 450 Bushmaster or a shotgun. So
Yeah, straight wall cart. That's what I use, a 450 Bushmaster, straight wall cartridge.
well, it's got to be nice because you can pop up the upper off your AR and put a new upper on and call it a day.
Yep.
But yeah, so you said you grew up hunting and whatnot. What kind? And then you said you went into the Marine Corps. When you came of age, what made you decide to join the Marines?
Just something I always wanted to do. I wasn't in active duty. I was in the reserves while I was
Okay.
in college. Try to keep me on the right path.
Mm-hmm. No bad.
So that's it.
Now, what was even though you were in the reserves, what was your job? What were you in charge of?
So I was a part of the infantry. I was a mortarman. That was my job specialty. Drop the mortars. They go over a mile away, and then they explode when they impact on the ground.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool. Now, do you wish you could still mess around with mortars today?
Oh yeah, mortars are awesome.
Right, to start lobbing them.
hmm
So you then so you get through college. Do you care to share what you were going to college for?
Yeah. So I was So at first, my passion was being a strength coach.
Mm-hmm.
Back in high school, I was a state champ powerlifter, and when I got into college, I played college football at a small Division III school to keep me on the right path. And I was a double major of exercise science, strength conditioning, with a minor in coaching.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now I'll double back a little bit. Was powerlifting your only sport throughout high school?
It wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. I played football, wrestling, powerlifting, and then baseball.
Oh, so yeah, you were a 4 season athlete.
Yeah, try to be.
the only way to not get out of shape, it seems like, in high school, right?
Hmm.
I was unfortunate through my high school time. I was a swimmer, so then in my off season I didn't do anything, but I still ate like I was in season. So that was never
Yep.
good, especially getting out of high school. I ate like a madman, and then the pounds just start packing on.
Me as well.
Yeah, but at least you had kind of like an avenue to like use it. I didn't. I just sat on the couch
Yeah.
and got chunky. But it's okay. But I digress. So eventually you get Lord mighty, this is gonna be rough because I think I need more cups of coffee today. I don't know what it was. Only had one, but it's okay. So you eventually, you get out of college. I'm assuming you at some point get out of the reserves, right?
Yep.
Or how long were you in the reserves? I should say.
I was in reserves a little over 4 years.
Okay, so fair enough. So you get out of that, and then did you go straight into policing, or did you go into another job field?
Nope, I went straight into policing.
Okay. What made you get away from wanting to, go to school? What you went to school for?
Kind of one of them career changes
Mm-hmm.
and the aha moments. I was physically capable of being a police officer, so I was like, if I can do it, I might as well do it because
Mm-hmm.
there's other people that don't get that opportunity to do it.
Right. And so you went to the academy, and what year?
2017.
Okay, so in 2017, you went to the academy. But so you had to pass the MCOL's pre-physical fitness test that
Yep.
I still hate to this day. Um, I tried to take that test and I failed miserably. I couldn't pass any of the. I couldn't pass anything. I couldn't even jump. This is why they make fun of white guys. We can't jump.
Yeah, I couldn't jump either.
I still think that now I still don't understand what that's really testing because you're not gonna in real life you're not gonna physically jump like that. It just
Yeah.
you're gonna jump onto something. It seems like to get
Hmm.
just so. Now the question is, did you pass the MCOLS test your first time, or did it take multiple attempts?
No, I passed the first time.
There you go. So you were in then pretty good shape then when you went into that, so you could do all that.
Yep.
Gotcha. And it seems like, well, as you're in law enforcement still. My question is, why does they make somebody pass that test, but then not keep up on the physical fitness aspect as through their career?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like it's just a standard that a lot of unions and a lot of paperwork and a lot of drama that goes
Mm-hmm.
into all that stuff and politics, which is in everything.
Right. Yeah, I would just always look at that, and then you see the stereotype of the cop with the donut, right? And it's like, but you make people who want to go and do this as a career have to do this. Not that it's unobtainium. It's definitely something you have to work at for the most part, or stay physically active to do it. But yeah, it's definitely an eye opener for a lot of people.
Oh, it is.
Now, in your when you went through the academy, how many female candidates were there?
I think we started around 10 in my class,
Mm-hmm.
and about half, when we graduated, I think that was cut in about half.
Okay, fair enough. Now, did you go to a local academy or did you go through like the state academy?
So my department, which I won't name, they have their own academy in the state of Michigan.
Gotcha. Cool. That's pretty cool then. So, any good memories that you can share about your time in the academy?
It's a lot of like the military. Runs along the same guidelines as that. The militaristic programming and all that type of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
the academy instructors yelling in your face, making you physically and mentally tough.
Gotcha. Makes sense, to be honest with you. So, well, and you still like that kind of work because you're still in law enforcement today. So when you first got out of the academy, then did you go? I'm assuming you went straight to street work, right?
Yep,
How long were you? Well, I assume by now you've moved to a different unit, correct?
correct.
Okay. So how long were you on the streets?
I was on the streets for patrol specific for about 3 years.
Hmm.
then I slowly progressed up to different units or whatnot.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. So you still do this as a full time. You still do that as a full time gig, yet you still make time to go shooting every pretty much any opportunity you have, right?
Yep.
So with that, you pretty much, when did you get started shooting competitive? Well, better start is, when did you? Because I see you. I've watched your social media. You've gone to Ohio Range Day. When did you start taking classes? Recreationally.
So recreationally, my first class was trying to think. In 2020, I took a class by Steve Fisher, Sentinel Concepts, and that was
Mm-hmm.
really an eye opener for me. I'm like, wow, I suck.
Oh yeah,
And
I remember taking a class with Steve. Yeah,
mhm.
he tells you suck.
Oh yeah.
I remember the first time I met Steve in person. We knew each other on the internet, but it was like
Mhm.
when I met Steve in person, he's like, "Oh, it's you," and then it was always a good time. I love talking to Steve.
Yeah, Steve's a good dude.
He's kind of local. Well, not for me. Maybe he's more local to you, but
Yeah, he's not too far away.
if he's home,
Yeah, true.
I still don't know how he bought it. Why he got a dog? Because he's never home.
Yeah.
So your first class with Steve, what was it? Was it like a 2-day pistol course or a 1 day or what?
So it was actually a little bit more advanced.
Mm-hmm.
I bit off a little more than I can chew, but me and my partner, we took it together. Department let us go through it for our work day. They
Mm-hmm.
provided us ammo, which was nice. It was shooting and moving. One day was pistol, and the second day was all rifle.
Oh, so that must have been down at what, Alliance Police Training?
Nope, it was over at his hunt club.
Oh, at the post. Okay.
Yep.
I still have not been over there yet.
Yeah, it's a nice place.
Yeah. I wonder how well it could host USPSA matches.
Not too good.
I know. Yeah, that's the worst part. Is like I think of every range is like, can you host USPSA? Can you host USPSA? Like there's one range, dude. I'm not joking. It's 10 minutes from home, 2 minutes from work, and I'm like, I want this place to be able to host USPSA matches.
Yeah, that'd
I
be
haven't
nice.
talked to the ownership about it yet, but I don't know how it'd go because they're super tactical guys, and that's the problem.
Oh.
If anyone doesn't know, I'm talking about Spectacle Lake Sportsman's Club. Like
Hmm.
they 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 have the space, they have the capability of doing it, not shutting down their whole place. So I think they could do it. But that's just me. That's me being greedy because who wouldn't want to go shoot a USPSA match 10 minutes from their house,
Yeah, of course.
right? So you took that first class with Steve. Where did it progress from there?
So after there, a couple months later, I took a basic class because I was like, I need to step back. I need to learn the basics. After that, I took a class by Achilles Heel Tactical, baseline pistol and baseline rifle over at Ann Arbor Arms.
Mm-hmm. And that was all indoors, wasn't it?
Yep, all indoors.
Okay. So what? So the better question is at this point, is it different? Has it been noticeably different for taking an indoor class than it is an outdoor class?
Oh yeah, for sure. You got the elements, the environment. You're limited to indoor. Don't have 360-degree shooting bays,
Mm-hmm.
that type of stuff. Then it's way louder indoors.
Yeah, that's my one biggest gripe about shooting indoors. Like, especially there, I haven't experienced it anywhere else, but Ann Arbor Arms has great ventilation. This is why electronic ear pros are not the greatest there.
No, you got to double up for sure.
Yeah, double up or just turn them all off. Like, I wear those custom moldeds now, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to crack them so I can even hear anybody talk. I just, which which is a nightmare when you're trying to talk. People are trying to talk, and you're like, I still can't hear you.
Yeah.
But no, but so you took those classes from Achilles heel. Where does that put us on the timeline then?
That was back in 2021, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I just took any and all classes I could from reputable instructors.
Gotcha. So then, what made you want to compete? Then, what made you decide to go start shooting USPSA?
So social media, one of my buddies, another local law enforcement officer, he posted a match was like, oh, that looks pretty fun. So he explained what it was or whatnot. Then I dove right into it. And I wanted to be better in the law enforcement aspect as well.
Mm-hmm. So when you shot that first match, I'm assuming you showed up in your duty gear?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
But so you probably had like a separate rig then, like a at-home rig, I'm assuming, right?
Yep.
Is that still the same rig you run today, or is it was that completely different?
Completely different.
Mm-hmm. Let me guess it. Thigh straps and T-Rex arm pouches and dump well, you still carry a dump pouch, don't you?
At work I do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not when I'm competing though.
That's right, because you still carry your chew on your belt, which is I think is pretty
Yep.
hilarious. But so where was that first match at?
So that first match was at a local club, 15 minutes away from my house. Detroit Sportsman's Congress. So it was an indoor match.
Mm-hmm.
My first match was mid-January of this year.
Okay. So that's pretty cool. At least, that is the cool thing about DSC is the fact that they do have the indoor range to go mess around in. You don't have to worry about the elements, but it's nice, but it's also not nice because it's indoors and it's also loud.
It is.
But I can't complain because you get to shoot throughout the winter. That's like the big thing.
That is nice.
In Michigan, people in the South don't understand our struggles in the wintertime. It's not very fun. So
it isn't.
So we talked pre-show. So you've always shot the M&P then, from like in your line of work and competitively.
I messed around with. I first started with Glock until I picked up an M&P.
Mm-hmm.
We got issued M&Ps when they came out the 2.0 at work.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a tricked out Glock that I first showed up to the match. I was shooting open because it was magwell, ported, all that stuff, and I was getting smoked by open guys. I was like, wow, I need to figure this out and get into carry optics.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's definitely the struggle. But you're still learning that you were learning the game at that point still, so it was okay to feel crushed, right? Now, at your first match, did you come in last?
I did not.
All right, there you go. You finished the match and you didn't finish last. That's
Yep.
everyone's main goal, I feel like, for their first match. So, oh shit. There we go. But with that, you kept shooting and wanted to get better, I'm assuming, and kept shooting matches. How many matches do you think you've shot by now?
I probably shot more than I should have and not trained enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think on practice score, I think I got logged over 30 matches.
Mm-hmm. So, well, and it's nice because in your area, in that part of the state, there's plenty of matches. There's, DSC, Oakland, Howell, Wayne County. Is there another one? There might be another one I'm missing. I can't remember. But then you've got all the traveling matches too, because you've gone to plenty of majors, it seems, this year, right?
Yeah, I have. Mm-hmm. I traveled this year. I traveled to Illinois. A group of guys that are local. We all traveled down to Illinois. That was fun. Shot Indiana sectional. That was fun. I shot Buckeye Blast. Then when I was down hunting in Ohio, I shot took a morning off, shot a match over at Dynamic Shooting Sports. That was fun. Shot a couple matches at Cardinal in Ohio as well.
Yeah. I do enjoy the Cardinal range. It's just a long drive to get up from up here to down there.
It is.
I think for me, it's a 3.5 hour total trip down.
Yeah, I think it's about what it is for me.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's still fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess I'll pull these questions up. So your M&P that you're currently using, what is it tricked out with? I'm assuming it's a little whiz bang now that you've been competing for a while.
A little bit. So I shoot the M&P 5-inch 2.0. I got a Carver Customs stainless steel guide rod with a lighter recoil spring. I have an Apex trigger kit. I have a SRO optic, a Trigicon, and Bros, metal cover by Jagerworks over that.
Hmm. Those are impossible to find, by the way.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find one for a buddy because he wants to have it plated. Like he wants to get it like gold plated for his because he's got an alt gold gun, but or at least it looks gold. Um, so, but I can't find one anywhere. That's like impossible to find nowadays.
Yeah, they should be coming out some more around Black Friday and throughout the holidays. They just had a run of them not too long ago.
I just must not be looking at the right time then. So currently, what classification are you sitting at?
I'm sitting at B.
Sandbagger.
I wish.
Yeah. Now, is it the classifiers that get you, or what? Or what's it seem to be the deal?
So yeah, I first started out. I started out C class. I bombed some classifiers, switch ammo. Didn't re-zero my gun, so I just bombed some classifiers. And B class is just hard to dig out of that hole.
Oh, most definitely. It definitely is difficult to get out of. Now, if you think it's hard to get out of and carry optics, think about getting out of it in the open. As most people say, my gun is a cheater gun. I still say I have to still go faster. I still have to go
Yeah.
faster and get good hits. It's a little bit easier because I have major power factor, so I get still 4 points per Charlie instead of 3. But it's not ideal. So, what was I going to say? Darn it. It's okay. I'll keep thinking. So currently, you said you're set at B class. Do you have any short-term goals that you're thinking about right now in your shooting career, in your USPSA career?
Yeah. So got two local matches. They'll have a classifier each. If I shoot at least an A run on both of those, I should bump up to A by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's another goal. And if I'm still at B, travel down to Florida in December, shooting their sectional match. Then if I'm still at B, to obviously win the class.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's a good goal. I think what was it, Indiana? You won B class as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there you go. You're doing the right things to do to get the right results for the most part. Now, you've said you shot a lot of matches and you probably wish you practiced more. Do you actually have a schedule for for practice?
It's just depending on my work schedule. So before I just moved to a different unit 2 weeks ago, so my schedule did a 180. So I'm trying to find that balance right now. But before I had a set schedule, and I usually would dedicate at least a day a week for live fire, if not every 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously dry fire throughout the week, or dry fire at work too when I get some downtime.
So, the stigmatism or the stereotype is that you're in law enforcement. Pretty much your minimum standard is shooting your qual once a year. Does your department still aid you and help you? Supply you with ammo to go practice?
Not practice. I got to go through some hoops to get training approved. And recently we had a regime change, which helped. They're driving the force there on training, which I got some ammo from them, and they count some of my training days as work days, which has been nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably definitely got to be nice because it's nice to see that things are changing. It's not just, oh, you're good enough. They want you to actually be good with your tools.
Yeah, it's slowly changing. It's still not anywhere close where it needs to be, but things happen over time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It's never going to be overnight. Nothing's going to change overnight. If we
Hmm.
all think it could, we're sadly mistaken. So when you go to even a local match, how do you prepare for those matches?
So a local match, minimum dry fire the day before and then 2 days prior, at bare minimum. Then maybe morning of, get some reps out of the holster at least, a couple reloads, just basic stuff. So I'm not a complete cold start when that first stage hits and the buzzer goes off.
Mm-hmm. Now, with doing that, has your first stage been better or acceptable?
Yes, it has. I can definitely tell a difference. Like if I slack, if I miss a day, I don't get the dry fire the night before because of work or whatever. I can definitely tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure. It definitely it does pay off. Like I myself, I like to go to the safe table, do that kind of stuff. Work out of the holster, work on the trigger, work the trigger, practice those reloads. Um, it definitely. Well, let me preface this: reloads without any ammunition in the safe table. I've seen plenty of people go home for that crap.
Yeah,
Which just sucks because the match hasn't even started yet. So you got to send people.
yeah, that does suck.
Yeah, but so you've got a lot of local guys who at least when I shot with you at Raccoon, there was a lot of people who were able to push you on our squad. Is that normally the case? You're always squatted with those kind of guys?
Oh, I try to at least, or at least a couple guys that are better than me, because I'm going to learn from them, and they're going to always push me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely is. It's very nice to be able to shoot with the kind of like the best guys in the division for the match.
Yeah,
So you're not like you have. It's nice because then you kind of see what they did, but not necessarily that they did it better, but the fact that you know what they did to even like pace yourself. Like, okay, we were roughly the same time, roughly the same amount of alphas and Charlies. So, and it's nice. There's a lot of heat. It seems like the heat is now building up again in Michigan. It seemed like for a couple, like the last year or so, like there was no real true heat. But now it's
yeah.
kind of like coming back again. Like we had one Carry Optics GM when I started, and now he doesn't even shoot anymore. So we're hopefully we'll have another GM here. Hopefully by the time this airs, well, definitely by this time this airs, but tomorrow there should be the classification thing will run again. So hopefully we'll have another GM. I talked to him today because I did the math on his after he did his classifier match. I'm like, the math says it's good,
Yeah,
but the problem is when you don't account for a duplicate score or which one was newer or better. It's just like math sucks.
it does.
Mm-hmm. So it was funny enough. I went to Ann Arbor Arms the other weekend, and you were there. Um, so you were taking a class with Donovan. I'm assuming that was not your first class with him, correct?
It wasn't. Nope.
Now that class was what, the performance pistol class?
Correct.
Now, what was so I don't follow Donovan too closely. So if I'm asking a silly question, tell me I am. But what was the generic get out of that class?
So his classes are of a progression.
Mm-hmm.
His first baseline class is called hybrid pistol, and the class we were at this past weekend was performance pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Using all the same terminology, not working on the fundamentals as much. We're working more on the performance aspect of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's very much a performance kind of guy. Even though he was I don't know what he did in the Navy. I know he was a diver, but I can't remember exactly what he did. But he definitely loves to shoot. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, he does.
Now, when he taught the class? How much of it do you think? How much ammo do you think he burned through doing demos?
Well, good teacher always demos his drills and what he wants the students to do, so he demoed everything.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably
Yeah, because that class you were supposed to go through what 1,200 rounds.
1,200 rounds.
Did you go over it or did you stay under 1,200 rounds?
We stayed under it because obviously we got limitations being indoors,
Mm-hmm.
but we still got a lot of good things from the class.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was curious, was there any shooting out past 15 yards?
Yeah, there was.
Oh, that's right. He does a qual, doesn't he?
Yeah, his elite standards,
Mm-hmm.
and then different drills. We run them all the way out as far as we can go, like 25, 22
Mm-hmm.
yards inside the indoor bay.
Gotcha. Yeah. I couldn't remember because I get so confused on whose standards are what. And it just means I don't pay attention enough, I guess. But yeah, so that was kind of cool. It was nice to see. There was a couple people I knew in the class. You were there. Raul was there. It looks like he was. I talked to him for a minute. And he was shooting a new gun because he switched from his Canic to his Shadow too.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, so I got to be watching him now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, there were some good guys. God, I can't remember the one guy. He was wearing when I was in there, he was wearing a Point One Tactics hoodie. His hair was slicked back. God, what's his name?
Oh, Craig?
Yeah, he's kind of tall and skinny.
Yeah, Craig Court. Yep.
Yeah, he he's still he's in law enforcement too, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I remember somebody pointing him out at a local match to me once, and I just kind of remember because he's got the Point One. He's always wearing that Point One Tactics hoodie.
Yeah, it's nice and warm.
Right. Nothing wrong with hoodies. I'm a hoodie fan. I'm a hoodie fan, that's for sure. But I'm really if someone's got like a brand, I like hats. That's my thing.
Oh yeah,
So
me too. I got a lot more hats.
I can still wear my jersey and it be okay because then I can wear someone else's hat and it's always good. But excuse me. You didn't shoot nationals this year, did you?
I did not know.
Okay. Was it because I'm assuming you couldn't get in because the match was already full. Was it on your radar?
It wasn't, so I didn't know anything about it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that was a thing, and didn't know it dropped. And someone posted they got in, and I was like, oh shit, I want to get in. Then I looked, and it was waitlisted.
Mm-hmm. And probably by the time you looked, it was probably a 200-300 person wait list, and it was like, it's not even worth it.
Yep. I shot the following weekend. One of the days at Cardinal though, all the stages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I watched the videos. It was definitely a swamp when you went.
Oh yeah.
When I did it, it wasn't bad. They had figured out the drainage or something. But so currently, what's sitting on your list for next year?
Well, I just put together a list not too long ago. Buddy of mine told me about this match, South Carolina sectional. I'm registered for that. Gonna shoot that in March. Another guy told me about one in West Virginia, like the Ohio, Pennsylvania border.
Mm-hmm.
Del Mar, that's a pretty big match. There's over 100 carry optics guys shooting it already.
Mm-hmm.
Buckeye Blast down in Ohio. Area 8, that's going to be a different club. It'll be a little closer to me.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna try to
it's on the closer end for us Michigan folks, so it's not terrible.
Yeah, I think it was like 4.5 from where I live.
Mm-hmm.
After that, Nationals, as long as I get in. Then Michigan sectional over at Oak Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Then back down to Cardinal, Area 5. After that, Western PA. It's a pretty big, tough match, I heard. Then back to Illinois, if that's possible. It was a little bit of a drive, but that was a really fun match. Good group of guys. They had a good setup down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of those you got to get like a hotel after the match too. It seems like because it's a long clip back home.
Yeah, it was 7.5 for me. I drove in early Saturday morning, got there just in time, got to walk the stages. Shot Sunday, and then drove straight home. 7.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then after Illinois, possibly Area 3 over in Nebraska. If I can squeeze that in with schedule, I think it's 11.5, 12 hours from my house. If that's possible, then back down to Indiana towards the end of September.
Right. Now, I'm assuming with all those times you're talking about, you only drive to matches. Have you ever thought about flying?
I have not. Most of those are pretty reasonable, besides maybe Area 3 over in Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't ventured into flying with the guns and ammo and all that yet. Like, I'm going to Florida next month, and I'm going to drive. I fell on my vacation, so I was like, might not get another chance to do this. Driving halfway to Tennessee, stay at my buddy's house a couple days, then drive the rest of the way, which is 8 hours, which isn't too bad.
Right. Yeah, that's not terrible.
Mm-mm.
Are you riding solo or are you carpooling?
I'm probably gonna ride solo because I'm gonna leave early in the week, stop at my buddy's house, which is halfway, hang out with him for a few days, and drive the rest of the way down to Florida.
Gotcha.
But there's a couple local guys that are heading down to Florida as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always a good time, right? You can transplant your cold weather friends down in the warm parts of Florida,
Yeah.
which that's not terrible anyways. So, well, that'll be a good match. I'm feeling for you. You know, kind of end the season off right and with a good level 2 match down there. I know Manny and Gorka and Manny Bragg put on a good match, so there's nothing wrong with that. Looking forward into 24, do you already have classes on your radar?
Nothing as of now. I
Mm-hmm.
would possibly like to get to a JJ class. I know him and Donovan, they do a class out at Tier 1's ranch, Defender Ranch,
Mm-hmm.
sometime next year. Whenever that happens, I would like to make the trip out there, experience that at least one time, and train on my own more. It's probably
Right.
the biggest thing. I
Right.
took a
Because
lot of classes this year.
right, you took a Ben Steger class too, if I'm not mistaken.
hmm
Um, what did you think of that?
It wasn't bad. It was a different format that I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
So it was at a local club. We had all the bays. It was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you take 4 days of training, or did you only take 2?
I only took two because of work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think the host had set it up where he's teaching one class for 2 days, and then the next 2 days, it's like a Saturday, Sunday, and then like Monday, Tuesday, he taught a different class.
Yep.
So, yeah, and what was the biggest takeaway you kind of took out of that Ben class?
The relaxation of your body and just keeping the gun up. My
Mm-hmm.
thing is old tactical Timmy, tuck the gun in, and go around it this way, but keeping the gun up, shoot sooner than later.
Right. As you are in law enforcement, you probably take over what you can to each discipline, right? Like, tactical shooting, the work stuff, you kind of keep in the work stuff, but then your performance shooting can help the work stuff, but you know what you can and can't do. I would say operationally. So anyone watching the audio version, I put up air quotes operationally. I forget that most people just listen to the voice, so they gotta hear the air quotes. But what was I gonna say? But so has that been a how do I put this and make it sound intelligent? I guess. Has that have you had any issues with that? Right, kind of keeping them separate, or knowing what you can do in either situation.
Not really. Um, just about everything transplants into law enforcement.
Gotcha.
Besides, obviously, the 180, because you're in real life. Everything could be a threat. 360 degrees.
So Ryan, here we are, and um, have you done any training, at least in the competitive space, about the mental game?
Um, I haven't really, no.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna ask you a question then. So when you have a bad, like something you perceive as a bad stage, what do you do after that run?
So generally, I just kind of leave it behind me. I can't let that carry throughout the rest of the stages, because obviously that happens, you're gonna completely bomb the match, even more than if you already did or not.
Correct. Yep. So, excuse me. That's good. That's good to hear, right? So, if it's going to affect your match, and that's something you really don't want to happen. Um, so that's good. Most people don't think like that. They just let it nag at them and bite at them, and it's definitely we've all been on the range with those people, right? They just
Yeah,
can't get it. They just let it fester. Now, if it's that they mess up like a standards or a drill, or if it be a stage or a classifier, right? There's always going to be those guys that mentally just aren't with it, right?
of course.
So it's good to see that you're already kind of mentally tough on that regard. So I mean, as you should be, in your line of work, you've got to be mentally tough. So, um, so I earlier I asked you about your short term kind of goals. Do you have any long term kind of goals in competitive shooting?
Uh, Probably eventually rank up, obviously, and then get some match wins.
Mm-hmm.
First locally, then transport over to the majors.
Yeah. Now, when you're shooting against these guys pretty much every weekend, um, do you have like a guy who's a chase guy? A guy who's a little bit better than you, but you're kind of competing with kind of closely.
Oh, of course. Out of my friend group. I was one of the first ones to dive into the competition world. So I got at least every match. One or two of those guys are out there. And then another local guy that I always compete with.
Mm-hmm. And that's good too, right? It's good to have those guys that you can kind of chase or bounce around with and be
Hmm.
like, "Ha, suck it, I beat you." Right?
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course.
I mean, if we're not there to have fun and like make fun of our friends because we beat them, I mean, why are we doing this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's definitely one of the ultimate bragging rights, I like to call it.
Oh, it is.
So um, when you go to a match, like say you're going to like a level, say, all right, for example, Indiana section match. It was a 1 day long, 1 day match, right? Did you do anything differently to maintain, your match day, nutrition throughout the match, or did you kind of just treat it like a local and do whatever you normally do?
I just did whatever I usually do. I didn't eat, which was probably smart. I had some small snacks,
Mm-hmm.
just like different stuff like that, some protein. Didn't eat too much
Mm-hmm.
and started to feel sluggish or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I did notice when I shot with our squad at that raccoon match that I went to, everybody was eating something.
Yeah.
Everybody was always eating something, and I'm like, well, no wonder because we didn't get out of there till freaking 3:30, 4 o'clock. So I was like, well, no wonder it's an all day thing.
Yep.
I'm one of those guys who fasts kind of like in the morning, from the morning, like so throughout match day. I typically don't eat until after the match,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's affected my performance. And like because I'm like, oh, I'm out of energy, but it's how I'm normally am like at a match. Like I just don't eat. It's usually because I don't want that heavy thing sitting in my stomach. It seems like,
Of course.
but there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Like so, even I'll say this to the listeners. Uh, I've been doing intermittent fasting now, so like I'll fast for 21 hours a day and then I'll eat for 3. So it's definitely an interesting take, and I've been doing it for about almost a month now. Seeing good weight loss results. So that's kind of nice. But I'm not losing energy. I'm not, I don't feel super tired. Now, that changes the fact if I go to the gym that morning and then I'm up even earlier than I normally am, and then it's a little tiring by the time the end of the day is happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely that. But I don't blame everybody for eating snacks.
No.
Although I always request that everyone goes out to eat after the match.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
just
a
me.
must.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you always got to go out. You got to get the aftermatch brewskis or something.
Hmm.
But I don't know if there's but that's just me. I like the camaraderie of hanging out with people at the match. So that's just kind of me. So in this sport, this is a better question I feel in this point. So you're pretty much almost a year into this sport. What is something that current Ryan would like to tell past Ryan who just got into USPSA about shooting?
Learn how to shoot fast and find that balance that you can compete at and not make mistakes.
Mm-hmm. So so I'm assuming then from how that sounds, you were definitely a turtle when you first started,
Oh yeah.
like a massive turtle, and you were just like, I'm gonna get my alphas. Didn't matter how long it took me, right?
Yep.
Now, how long do you think it took you to start kind of breaking your turtle shell?
About 3-4 months in, I took a
Mm-hmm.
class with Billy Barton, spec train,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the breaking point for me.
Now, do you feel like you have a better beard than Billy Barton?
Currently, no. I had a really good one a couple weeks ago until I had to trim it down for work.
Mm.
So
No,
he's got me beat on that.
Yeah, Billy's a good dude. If anyone actually is listening and cares, go check out the old Billy Barton episode. Back, it's probably been a long time ago, but it's still a good episode. But because he's very articulate, which is nice because he comes from both sides, like the tactical, the training side and the competitive side. So that's always good. So yeah, you really have taken a lot of classes this year.
I
Lord.
have.
Hopefully the government paid for them.
A
Not
lot of
most of them,
overtime for him.
right? But so yeah, so you came out, as not much of a turtle, as less of a turtle, right?
Yeah.
But so you're kind of finding that balance still, right? Of this kind of the speed and accuracy, or what you need to see, to get those good alpha hits at pace. Now, when you're at a match, do you track who's beating who, like at per stage?
I usually do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that
Always.
more because it's a results based focus, or is it that you're purely interested in knowing, like, okay, he beat me on this one, or I beat him on this one?
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely both.
Right. That's for sure. It definitely is. It can be good and it can be a hindrance. I find, like, when I'm super focused on, oh, what'd you get? What was your hit factor? What was your hit factor? And then, by the time you're too focused about that, you really need, I should be focusing on the next stage, or what's
Yep.
the stage plan. I'm really bad at this. I don't go walk stages ahead of time, purely due to the fact, for the most part, is everyone stops me and starts wanting to talk. I'm just like, well, there goes my time to go walk stages. So,
Yep.
but it is what it is. I can't complain too bad. It's nice to actually catch up and talk to people. So, so who are some of your biggest supporters in the sport? Now, if you have sponsors, this is not the time to talk about them because that's later. But biggest mentors or supporters in this sport.
Definitely Billy. I reach out to Billy quite often on social media or whatnot. Trained with him twice now. He definitely gives me some pointers or whatnot, and then some other high level guys I reach out to. They give me some pointers or whatnot. I'll send them a video like, "Hey, what do you think I could have done better? This stuff like that."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's great. Honestly, that's what I love this community, because you can send somebody a video and be like, "Hey, how did I mess up? What do I need to work on?" That's the nice thing about this community. It's
Yeah,
not
it
like
is.
it's not like, no, you can't know anything. This is my secret sauce, right? Where you could probably see that on, like, the instructor side of things. I don't like to call them tactical because they're not all tactical instructors anymore, right? There's
Mm.
competition. I guess I'll call it competition and performance kind of people, or fundamentals, or efficiency standpoint, right? Because Steve, I don't consider, like, he's not tactical, right? It's much more of, this is how you're going to hold the gun. This is how you're going to shoot the gun. Know what influences you put on the gun to shoot the gun, kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
So, excuse me. Now I lost my. But it seems like in that kind of community, everyone's got their secret sauce, and they don't want anything to get out or spill their beans. It seems like, right?
Hmm.
But at least it seems like, at least for the most part, in the competitive community, everyone's kind of more willing and free to share, right?
Yeah, of course.
But so if you could you say you've had an aha moment, like a really big aha moment since you've started till now?
Yeah, I have.
Mm-hmm.
That would be like, you got to find that balance. Like, I see guys who will be super fast on their feet and then have terrible hits. Then
Mm-hmm.
I'll see the other way around where people have good hits and terrible speed. You got to find that balance and that efficiency. Like the past weekend at Donovan's class, for the final event, he set up like a mini stage or sector of fire, and I ran it. I was a couple thousand slower than him, but I had to do things some a little bit slower than him. But when he ran it, it was completely smooth. Then he beat me in the hit factor by almost over a point and a half. That's and to watch some of the high level guys, they're fast, but they're efficient and smooth. That's where I gotta narrow down and be efficient with my movement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, but you had all hits on paper, I'm assuming, on that run still, right?
Yep.
Okay, so there was no like, oh, I lost by 1.5 hit factor, but I had a mic, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, the efficiency definitely gets big at all levels, right? Eventually, how I call it is you figure out how to play the game, you figure out how to be safe, you figure out how to play the game, and then you learn how to be efficient. You know, and that's where those guys are really getting it. When they get the efficiency and the consistency, is when they really become threats, right? I've
Oh yeah.
seen. I know you and I have probably seen all these people, right? They burn a run down, and then the next one's absolute shit. You know, they don't have the consistency, and
Nope.
that's one of those big things too, is finding the consistency. Which for me, it was weird when I found that I was consistent. The fact that like it didn't feel rushed, it didn't feel fast. It was just like, oh, this felt normal, like this weird euphoric zen kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, I can do this again. You know how people talk about the reshoot fairy, right? And like, oh, the reshoot gods are gonna get you this time, and it's like, nah, I did it the first time. I think I can do it again.
Yep.
that that's kind of where most people want to. They eventually, you get there, and then you get good enough, but then you start sucking because you got to figure out some other crap. So then you get better, and then you hit that spot. It's this wiggle of effect of always getting better. So that's always cool. Oh, excuse me. But anyway, I have a couple more questions before we wrap it up for the night. And is the with all that you've learned within the shooting sport, um, what was one thing you would like to change?
One thing I look to change. Just my way of training.
Mm-hmm.
Because I shot a lot of matches this year, but I wanted to get that experience under my belt and to see what I needed to work on as well. So my training is moving forward is definitely going to be a lot different.
Right. But I don't necessarily think for your first year of shooting, I don't think getting a lot of match experience is wrong.
Hmm.
Because you don't like you could go and spend a bunch of hours in dry fire and not shoot any matches, and and maybe shoot one match a month and still not get any better. You'd still be at square one. But since you go to the matches, you see the people, you see how fast you got to be. I think that's not a bad play in your first year or whenever you start taking it seriously, as you are. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's the wrong path at this point. But going forward, I can see that where you might shoot one less match a month, but you go practice and take that ammo and go actually practice,
Yep.
which I don't think is wrong. So Ryan, I don't necessarily know if I don't know the answer to this question. So, do you have any sponsors?
I do not.
Oh, okay. So that makes that one kind of easy. but but that's okay then. So I guess that leads me to my next question. Ryan, if people actually wanted to talk to you on the internet, if it's maybe about law enforcement or classes you've taken with different instructors, or even about competitive shooting, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Usually Instagram. I'm more of a photo and video kind of guy. So you
Mm-hmm.
can reach me on Instagram. My handle is RYWALL43. My name on Instagram is T-Bone.
Mm-hmm. Now I gotta ask, why do they call you T-Bone?
So I was in a police chase and I got T-boned a couple
Oh,
years ago.
any injuries? Just the vehicle?
Minor injuries.
Okay. I guess that's an okay nickname and an okay story, but that's fine. So yeah, so guys, if you want to reach Ryan, hit him up at his Instagram social that I'll have down in the show notes for anyone who wants to find it and talk to him, which some people probably will. But no, brother, I appreciate your time tonight. I really appreciate you sitting down and talk to me. Kind of getting to know your story a little bit better and kind of how you came up throughout the shooting and the sport. So, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me out. I appreciate it.
No problem. And to the listeners, until next time, get out and do things, and I'll see you on the next one.